Should be on.
I'm in the zone. You in the zone? Yep. I'm in the zone. You're in the zone. In the zone. Who's in the zone? All right, folks. The day is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Maybe I'll squeeze a marg in if I have time, but I probably don't. Going downtown, not downtown, Fenway area to see that movie, Nobody. I have not seen a movie in theaters in a long time. It's probably not safe. I'm not going to claim it's safe, but it's been about a week since I got the vaccine, so fuck you. I'm going to see it. My girlfriend's coming too. It'll probably be weird seeing a new release, or newish. I think it's been out like a week or whatever. But it will definitely be weird seeing a movie that's been out about a week and there's only going to be, every other person in the theater or whatever. I actually have no idea how full the theaters are. It will be interesting to see. I have my vaccine card on me, like just in case. I don't know if I doubt that will be required, but now it's just like, I don't know what the rules are. I guess I'll just bring the vaccine card. I got a letter. We're going to Miami this weekend, and I got a fucking email from JetBlue that was like, did you know that a study at Harvard University showed that the ventilation systems in aircraft carriers make airplanes one of the safest places to be during a pandemic? I was like, yeah, I don't know how good the ventilation is, but I'm pretty sure being neck and neck with people, like, you make us pay 85 fucking extra dollars for 6 inches of leg room. I'm pretty sure that's not one of the safest places to be. But, whatever lies. I love Harvard University. They're so fucking lucky it was Harvard. Like, because if it was like Johns Hopkins, it would be like, If it was fucking the University of Michigan, they'd be like, It's like, oh, thank God it was Harvard. We can fucking put this in our email. Stupid people will take solace in that. You always see those headlines, right? There's like, MIT scientist, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just like, some bullshit. But it's not like MIT did a study that proved yada, yada, yada. And also a lot of these studies, they're done once, they're not reproduced. Gallivanting about what the results is sort of antithetical to what science is in general. But then you hear like, MIT scientist, blah, blah, like MIT scientist mows his lawn every morning. And it's like, that's why you should mow your lawn every morning. It's just like this guy, first of all, he's an MIT scientist. So like mows your lawn is a contrived example. MIT scientist says that having an urban farm will improve your life. Like, so all your neighbors can complain that you have fucking chicken and pigs running around in a suburban environment in a little cage, cluck cluck and oink oink waking up their kids. You smell pig shit, wafting into your house. But because it's an MIT scientist who's obviously already probably some kind of fucking kooky guy, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Ted Kaczynski was an MIT scientist.
I think it was Harvard.
Harvard, okay. Well, same thing though. Harvard scientist says that you should mail explosive devices to Congress people you don't like. Like, honestly, the guy who tried to mail all those explosives a few years ago, like, he tried to send one, like, none of them exploded. They weren't even made right because he wasn't smart like Ted Kaczynski was. And he got caught, and he had that, like, ridiculous truck with all the Trump propaganda on it. They should have used that as a legal defense. Like, his lawyer should have just stood in court and been like, excuse me, sir, but a Harvard scientist actually recommended he do this. So, can't bring in Ted Kaczynski as an expert because he's dead as shit. But is Ted Kaczynski dead or is he in jail?
I think they killed him.
Was he like a standoff or?
No, it was like
it was a sus thing? Like they could have taken him alive and they didn't?
I think it was federal law, that's why.
Well, I don't think there's any federal law that justifies assassinating someone.
No, if it's like a domestic terrorist act, they can legally execute you regardless of the state.
Well, why'd they take Tsarnaev alive? Probably because there was a lot of, like, news cameras and shit.
No, they were going to execute him, but they overturned it like a bunch of pussies.
No, but I'm saying you're saying, so Ted Kaczynski was executed.
Yeah, he was executed.
I thought you were saying that they just, like, found him in whatever cabin and shot him, like Chris Dorner.
He might have had a standoff. Let me look it up.
Yeah, the Chris Dorner thing is sketchy. It's like, was it incompetence? Or did they just make it look like incompetence? Because a lot of this is policing. You do see, like, okay, well, these people are pretty incompetent. I mean, this fucking dumb bitch grabbed a gun thinking she was grabbing a taser and killed a kid. So, like, there is a lot of genuine incompetence that happens. That's what happens when, like, much of the police force is just, like, C students or worse. And
no, he's still alive.
He's still alive. Oh, he's in federal penitentiary?
Yeah, he's 78.
Is he in military jail or federal jail? Or is there even a difference?
It says Chicago, Illinois. That's it. No, occupation.
Looking up the Ted Kaz.
Convictions. What the fuck is it?
I'm just gonna do. Where is Ted Kaczynski incarcerated? call into the show if you know where Ted Kaczynski is incarcerated. I mean, it's not live by any means, but feel free to call in. What's he's wearing his mask? What is this, like a Shaw's mask? What's going on here?
Yeah, a fucking piece of shit show.
Branded Shaw's mask.
Oh, by the way, I might be fired because I got into a huge fight with my work yesterday, but...
No offense, but you are kind of better than working at a grocery store. You should make money doing this stuff.
That's what I'm trying to do.
I mean, if I had money, I'd pay you.
See, I just
See how Dogecoin goes.
I need a job like Shaw's where I can work part-time and make some bill money and then try and make this my real job, but my bill money job keeps getting in the way because they suck or are incompetent.
Okay, I'm gonna assume the role of life coach who is not qualified to do this at all because that's like a fun activity to do on the podcast. Now, what actualizable steps have you taken to making this your real job?
Well, I'm trying to get enough episodes so I can get monetized or find another way to raise money. I do get...
I mean, my podcast specifically?
Not just...
Or just in general, podcast in general. Okay.
Like, I just did another one, Julie, today.
Yeah, I mean, it probably would help if we actually promoted the show a non-zero amount, which that's kind of on me. I do not promote the show at all.
Yeah,
I just kind of put it up there, occasionally tweet that there's a new episode, if that. I have 75 followers on YouTube, so a lot of this, honestly, onus falls on me. So I'm kind of fucking with your money in a way.
Well, it is like a radio format show, so...
What's a radio format show?
This show. It's more like a radio format.
Well, I guess so. I mean, we're not doing the anal ring toss or anything, but I can't believe that was like a thing that existed on the radio back in the day.
Well, the anal
that blows
ring
my... No, just everything Howard Stern did. Just like, what? Like, I get, like, the FCC was on his ass and trying to get him pulled at all times and always trying to find him, and they were, like, always finding these little workarounds so they could get away with whatever. But that was, like, some of the shit they did on that show that they just, like, did, and no one got in trouble. And it was, like, if you did any of that now, it doesn't matter if you were fucking on OnlyFans or even, well, maybe Pornhub, but like he didn't, that's the thing is he didn't have to be on Pornhub. He was on the radio, and then there was like the on-demand thing that you could just like order to watch the video. But still, video aside, the fact that as audio content was being put on the fucking, and they weren't allowed to say, like, before they moved to Sirius, they like weren't allowed to say fuck, but they could still have a woman ride a machine that gave her an orgasm on the air. Like, people don't live like they used to. I don't know. Some people are like, Howard Stern is definitely one of those, a lot of the woke folks looking back and being like, actually, he was problematic. I was like, well, I think they actually knew that he was problematic at the time. They may have not thrown the word problematic around in every other sentence like they do now, but like,
no,
the whole point was that he was extremely problematic and he like did it anyway. But like, I don't know. It's funny because I was aware of him like as a character, and when I was like a kid, I discovered the existence of like the Howard Stern show through like Daily Motion when like I didn't want to watch like real penetrative porn because I was only like 13, 14. I didn't want to like I hadn't graduated to that yet. So I'd be like on the Daily Motion watching just like very, softcore or just like videos of Playboy models doing shoots or whatever. And then I like, indirectly discovered like just clips of the Howard Stern show. And I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? So they just took the audio of this and they just played it on the radio?
Yep.
They can't do that. That's definitely not allowed. And then I just thought it was like, okay, well, maybe middle of the day, like must be evening, whatever. No, it was during the morning commute. Like, what? So people were literally, and then some of these clips, you see someone drives in, they're like, Howard, I'm on my way to work, and I had to take my shirt off because I'm sweating. You got me all fucking, my windows are steamed up. And it's like, holy shit. Like, they don't make it like they used to. We get pulled from YouTube. Even if we did that and just put the audio up, we would get pulled from YouTube like immediately. Not that we would, because, I honestly... My girlfriend would get mad, honestly, is the main reason. She'd be very upset if I was, doing strange activities with, local sex workers and whatnot. I'm sure a few other people in my life would get pretty upset by it, too. I don't have the balls, honestly. But, yeah, the guy just didn't give a fuck. They got a different time.
Well, I was going to say earlier that, keep in mind, this is the 90s, so your typical 90s...
No, it was like through about 2000, I want to say like 2009. And then it's like still on the air, but like he stopped doing ridiculous shit. And now it's just more of a, he has a guest on, he talks to them, he asks them if they do yoga, he talks about being vegan. Quite a transformation from what it once was. I don't believe the Sibian has been brought out in quite some time. I'm not sure though. I'm not like a fucking Howard Stern historian.
No, my point is he pissed off 90s liberals. Your typical 90s liberal today would be considered far right conservative.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, I mean, all those people were still fine with like going to war in Iraq and all that shit.
Yeah,
so,
he was
I mean,
problematic before.
They're just mad about things that like, because more liberals back then were religious. Now, like, more and more left-leaning people are not affiliated with any religion or whatever.
Aside from the religion of the state,
yeah,
I love Sherman Mountain.
No, but I mean, like, the big three, the annoying ones, And just before you get on my case, obviously Christianity is the most annoying of the three. But, we're not giving you guys a bye just because you're sometimes persecuted against. Christianity is the most annoying, of course, because they are not persecuted against, but they frequently claim they are. And there's literally no evidence to support the claim. All of their claims that they're being persecuted against is just the fact that there's separation of church and state in this country. And they seem to be upset by that, even though in any other situation they would pearl clutch the Constitution. Whereas, there's people burning down fucking mosques and synagogues. You're fine. I don't know. Plus, you're all white mostly, so get over it. These aren't exactly like stellar cutting edge talking points. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people with half a brain know that if you're Christian, you're not being persecuted. Of course, my mom was always one of those people who, she got very scared when she found out like the tide was turning where like everyone complains about being offended or microaggressed and whatever. So she always does find contrived ways to like act like she's being persecuted against. Going on vacation anywhere else, thinking that, she goes to the South, she's being persecuted against because she's from the North. If she goes to Europe, she's being persecuted against because she's American, she thinks that somehow Catholics are being mistreated even though they have billions of dollars at their disposal and are like a literal large pedophile ring, but she's always like, well, they always want to paint Catholics in a bad light. I was like, I think they just want to paint Catholics accurately, I believe, is the issue. I think you have a problem with them being painted correctly, I mean, I have a buddy, he didn't really get the Catholic thing because he was saying, he thought that, he said, well, the Catholic Church is just a large corporation disguised as a religion so that old men can launder money and molest children. And he was right, but he also forgot about the fact that the Catholic Church is mostly about boring and nonsensical rituals that are not even limited to the confines of the church. Like, people who are Catholic, they get into this whole, like, okay, everything's got to be like a long, overdone ritual. Some of the older people, they were even doing this shit in Latin, which they did not understand, but they would still memorize all the shit they had to say. But now it's like, growing up, it was like we would have to, do Advent prayer ritual at home. It's like, we already have enough of this. And, I had some friends that were like even like way more like, I mean, I was raised pretty Catholic, honestly. My mom was pretty unwavering, but I had friends that were even more crazy Catholic. And you'd go to their house and they would have like chore charts and shit. Like they made the idea of like who had to take out the chores and shit, like a ritualistic process. I think they had they said they had like a family meeting every Sunday. Now, granted, also they had 7 kids, but also that's a fucking other Catholic stereotype, so you don't get to work backwards from there. But I could also see, you have 7 kids, you may need to have a little bit more structure, but it seemed like it was just they were every single thing in their life had to be some sort of like ritualistic religious experience. And did they have spirituality at all? Probably not. I don't see too many Catholics experiencing legitimate spirituality, at least not that I'm seeing. But I remember, I'll never forget when we were in CCD as a kid. And I really took a sharp turn from persecution here, but whatever. Took too many Addies today, I guess. But when we were in CCD, another meaningless ritual we had to do was that around Christmas time, the last CCD before Christmas, they brought in a cake. And the cake said, "Happy Birthday, Jesus." And, they did not put 2002 candles on the cake. I believe that's the year. They did not put 2002 candles on the cake. Kind of cheaped out, if you ask me. But they, lit some candles and they made us all sing "Happy Birthday, Jesus." So it was like they're kind of co-opting like a known child ritual that children like, but trying to kind of force it into this back alley thing where like, I feel like if you ask someone who is like a real historian of the Bible, they would probably consider such thing to be kind of disrespectful. But I mean, it was not a homemade cake. It was, they literally went to Shaw's, bought like the cake they had and said, "And can you write 'Happy Birthday, Jesus'?" Imagine if it was like a fucking Muslim guy working behind the counter at the bakery and he's just like, fine.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, he probably did. "Happy Birthday, Jesus, Christ." So we're singing "Happy Birthday to Jesus," right? And a few of us, including myself, because that was the thing you did at the time when you were 8 years old or whatever. "Happy birthday to you, cha-cha-cha, and one of the teachers like just fucking darted over and like fucking, stop that right now. Like real quick, had to nip it in the bud, right? Because you've purchased a cake at Shaw's. How much money did the cake cost? Probably not a lot. And then again, and these teachers were spending their own money, but still, we'd also rather just be home playing video games and not doing CCD in the middle of the winter because, as any rational person could agree, it's stupid. So they purchased a cake. They got them to write "Happy Birthday, Jesus" on it. They lit candles. This was not in the New Testament. There's no part where it says you're supposed to do this. It was not at Vatican II, not at the Pentecost, nothing. No one's making you do this, okay? You came up with this stupid ritual. But the idea that children would then yell cha-cha-cha during this meaningless exercise was very offensive and disrespectful, to the memory of Jesus Christ who died for our sins. Like, I feel like it's all about, and that just comes back, it's all about just finding a fake way to be mad. Like, can't you just vibe? Like, if we were saying cha-cha-cha during the birthday song, then that meant that we were probably trying to enjoy it. But it can't be about enjoying it. It has to be a somber practice. Like, you have to ruin the happy birthday song, which isn't even public domain, by the way, so you might get sued, just to instill your cha-cha-cha. It would be funny if I actually got proved wrong and someone was like, actually, Kevin, the Second Vatican Council declared that every day on December 19th, you must actually buy a birthday cake that costs no more than $25. It must be white with blue frosting, and you must sing Happy Birthday, Jesus. And he who says the cha and the cha and the cha shall be thrown into the pit of fire.
Who the fuck wrote this? Knights Templar?
Yeah. P.S. No gays. I think, honestly, a birthday cake with white base and blue frosting for the lettering is pretty gay. So Catholics might want to rethink the Happy Birthday Jesus cha-cha-cha. This was esoteric. I could have fucking reported this shit to the Vatican. They'd be like, they're doing what in Jesus' name? Except for they'd say it in like some language no one understands. That's another thing. I don't fucking trust that the Pope is saying any of that shit they're saying. They're saying like, the Pope is saying gays are good. I'm like, he's fucking, no one understands that language anymore. It's just a video. They're putting subtitles. Like, they're probably like, he just says a bunch of shit, and then they put the subtitles like, God said that gays are great and we love all gays. And then they send that video to the U.S., and he's like, and most of the Western world, and they're like, isn't the Pope great? Isn't he so much more progressive and accepting? This is a great direction for the church. But then they take that same video, and they can just put different subtitles that are like, God still hates gays. He actually thinks we should be more mean to them. And then they send that to the fucking Taliban, and then the Taliban's, you know what? I think I'm seeing eye to eye with this Pope. Who knows? I don't know. All I know is that I'm seltzing like crazy. I've been buying more Perrier water lately, switching it up with the Polar. That's one thing I'll probably miss when I go to Texas. I don't think they got the Polar Seltz. Damn shame. They might. I don't know. I didn't really fact check that.
Yeehaw, people.
It is a New England thing, right?
Probably. I think
well, someone just posted in, who I know in LA, just posted that like their grocery store in LA just got Polar Seltzer. But that doesn't necessarily mean they would also have it in Texas. That might just mean that now they have a line to LA, which is, Texas is still pretty far away from there, so who knows. Maybe we should have an anal ring toss. We could drum up some controversy, get more views for the podcast. The problem is if you do that, then you can't monetize it on YouTube because they would just immediately demonetize you. Which actually brings me to the next point. Even if I had like a couple thousand subscribers, we would not be able to monetize this podcast on YouTube. Like I think I made fun of the vaccine like 2 episodes in a row, and that's already like an immediate. But you can get a sponsor and read the sponsor URL on the show, and you can make money that way. Sell merch, whatever.
I love Polar Seltzer.
Yeah, YouTube monetization is pretty shit though. Like you got to be getting millions of views before you can, be actually making like money. So it's not really the avenue to explore.
There's millions and millions of marks on YouTube, so
yeah. But if you get a couple hundred people to buy, a wallet or a pair of underwear or whatever energy supplement, like shit like that, if you get a couple hundred people to buy that with your code, you actually do make a non-trivial revenue. So could think about it. Good thing about it. There's also Patreon, but then we would have to like schedule the time to record twice a week, or just record a 2-hour block and only release one for free. But honestly, we're having trouble with the 1-hour blocks as is. What happened at work? Are you allowed to talk about it?
Pretty much. I got into a fight with management.
No one's gonna listen anyway, so.
Well, I left early. I left a very angry letter saying that I'm sick and tired. Long story short, like past year now.
And now you've been working at this grocery store. I guess we won't say the name to be safe, but you've been working at this grocery store for
7 years now. It'll be 8 years in November.
So you were like 20 when you started?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
And put this way, it's just I work this job to pay my bills.
But are you making above minimum wage at this job?
Barely.
Okay.
What
so
they
just
do
like
is
the technical,
So here's how they fucked me. So when I was eligible for a raise, they gave me a raise right before the law said you had to raise minimum wage.
Fuck that.
So I did technically get my raise, but then minimum wage hit right after, so I got fucked. So
yeah, so they knew that was going to happen. Obviously.
Yeah, thanks state of Massachusetts, you fucking tards. But
I don't think it was the state that did that. I'm pretty sure it was your employer.
No, it's the state who had minimum wage.
Well, I'm saying that the state raised the minimum wage, and your employer could have been like, okay, we're going to let it go up, and then we'll give you a raise, on top of the state's minimum wage.
It's shitty what they did, but they should never.
They were going to do it anyway. Yeah. I'm sure it helped a lot more people than it hurt you personally. No offense, but a lot of people who were making $8 an hour are probably pretty fucking happy that all of a sudden they were making 12 or whatever it is now.
Yeah, so pretty much.
Is it 12, 15? What's the minimum wage?
13.
13. Okay.
Yeah, I make $13.75 an hour.
There's parts of the country where it's still like 7 something. So.
Yeah. So basically, what's my point is, so last year I've been overworking because we have a lot of fucking losers in my department and they keep calling out sick. So basically now if you call out sick, your employer is legally not allowed to say a thing about it because of the whole COVID shit. So now all the fucking lazy piece of shit slackers are leaving. And keep in mind, we have a skeleton crew of a skeleton crew. So if pretty much I'm actually getting punished for showing up and actually coming to work.
Right, because they know that you want the dough, and they won't, they won't take it away.
They keep saying we're trying to find people hired, but I don't fucking believe it. I just got sick of it because I'll be honest, I've been dead tired the last 3 years now. Like last year, it's gotten worse. Like I get maybe 2 hours of sleep at night the most.
Here's the thing: I don't know how you really do that. I mean, I know that you do it, but if I'm tired, I just sleep. I guess it's because of my pampered necessity that I work from home. It's just if I need to take a nap in the middle of the day, I just do.
The thing is, the people in my house all happen to have closing shifts too. So when we get out, I'm off. Yeah, I get up 10 o'clock, and then everyone there, and because my family is a bunch of loud guineas, we're up till 3 in the morning every night, and it sucks.
And how many people live in your house these days?
My mother, my brother, my cousin. That's it.
Oh, so there's 5 total in the house. Yeah. Okay, that's not that bad. You said your family. I was like, I didn't know who still was and who was not around.
So. Like I said, if you ever grow up in an Irish and Italian household, it's always talking over each other to see who can get the most attention. Yeah. It's fucking sad and ridiculous. And I hate it. But
and you really can't escape it in the way houses are built in this area. You really can't escape it because I would go to the basement to be like, fuck it, I'll watch TV, play video games. And if my mom and my sister were arguing, it doesn't matter if they could be fucking arguing on the top floor and then there's the ground floor. It's these floors are very, very thin, and you can hear every footstep. It is very hard to sneak around in the middle of the night. Luckily for me, though, I would always hang out in the basement, and then if I wanted to sneak out and go smoke weed with my friends, I could just walk out the back door and just try not to trigger any motion sensing lights, God forbid. And then
put it this way, Kevin. You know how when your phone's on 10%, you hit low power mode? I've been on low power mode for about 2 years straight now. It sucks.
Nah, man, you need a vacation.
Yeah, I know, but I just can't sleep at night because everyone. Yeah. Long story short,
you need a vacation.
I need a good night's sleep, folks. That's what I need.
Go to the Comfort Inn in Woburn and get the.
I'm not paying money for fucking inn.
Well, no, but the Comfort Inn, if you pay, I think when we did it, this might have been affected by pandemic pricing. Maybe it's more now, but it was $120 for the night, and we got the room that has just a giant hot tub in the room. Not in the bathroom, but just kind of a few feet over from the bed. It's pretty awesome. And then you just kind of hang out in that. It feels pretty great. And, it's just you don't have anyone around you.
Well, put it this way. When the pandemic hit, everyone except for me got to leave work and not go to work for 4 months straight. I stayed and had to go work every single day like it was a normal day in the job. It sucked.
But those people collecting unemployment?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, I did that for a while, but...
I won the moral argument because I never collected unemployment. I stayed open because I was an essential worker.
There's actually nothing more about not taking free money from the government that would otherwise screw you at any opportunity, though.
Yeah, but...
So that's kind of a brainwashing thing that they pull. A CIA psyop, if you will.
Well, the thing is, though, I knew my grandfather, and he fought in World War II, so I do have somewhat of a moral bedrock in my family, so... Yeah, it's more about appeasing my Christian forefathers.
Yeah, well, World War II was probably one of the only wars that we actually did need to fight. I mean, the Civil War, but, after the year 1900, I guess.
Revolution War of 1812, Civil War, and World War II.
I'm saying everything after 1900 was basically World War II.
That's it.
Save those Jews and also stop the country from being invaded by Nazis was a nice perk. And
Stop the Japanese from killing everyone.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get it if Hitler took over Europe, then we were gonna kind of just get it from both sides. And from a military perspective, that would be a very bad strategic place to be. But then we just sent our strongest shit west, and we sent shit that was also very strong to the east, and we somehow won.
Thanks to Comrade Joe.
Comrade Joe, yeah. I don't. My grandfather served in Korea. He's dead now. I don't really know anything about his time as a service, although that was obviously a well-known failure military operation. So, a lot of dead people. Not as many as Vietnam, but
no one ever talks about Korea either.
Well, it's because Korea and Vietnam, I think, were in a pretty short time frame with each other, and the death toll and absolute turmoil and destruction and casualties, not including even the death toll, which was again wicked high, I think just makes Korea look like nothing. But Korea was also a pretty.
I wouldn't say that
failure.
to a Korean vet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, both were pretty embarrassing. But I think the Vietnam War was just even more embarrassing. So it's kind of like you'd have to talk about it a lot because also you got to remember the fuckload of people that died. But it's also just like, all right, we need to make sure that we're never embarrassed to such a degree ever again in a military operation.
But anyway,
yeah,
so
spheres of influence, blah, blah, blah.
can I get a good night's sleep one of these days? Maybe.
You should go on vacation. Go to Punta Cana or Fort Lauderdale or some shit.
I don't like to travel. I fucking hate traveling.
Sleep on the plane. And then when you get there, sleep on the beach.
Maybe I should take a week off.
When you go to like Cape Cod, like not that, summer's coming up. White Mountains is always good. Conway area, very beautiful lakes, rivers, mountains. You may or may not climb depending on what you are so inclined to do. Climbing a nice mountain, though, a pretty awesome feeling once you get to the top. It's not always great the entire way up, and sometimes actually pretty bad on the way down too. But that top part is pretty great.
I think my problem is I don't know how to relax. I'm always so tense because I don't know about
meditation.
I have this strange bit of luck where everywhere I go, everyone always wants to criticize me. I don't know why. It just happens. Everywhere I go, everyone wants to play. I guess people think I'm some sort of bully or like some sort of authority figure that they want it.
They think you're an authority figure?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because like you're tall and have a square jawline.
Yeah, it's probably.
Is that why you're always wearing a mask?
No, I'm always wearing a mask because, I don't know. It makes me feel safe.
Yeah, that's why I carry a gun. No, I'm just kidding. Just pepper spray.
That's why I carry a combat knife and sometimes a hockey mask.
There was a period during the quarantine where I got very paranoid and was carrying pepper spray basically at most times. And now the pepper spray is just like casually on my desk, just like kind of behind my monitor, and I always forget about it. And there's going to become a time where like someone actually tries to mug me and I'm like, oh shit, too bad I stopped carrying that pepper spray 18 months ago. It's like, boy, that was a crazy week though when I got paranoid and I went to Dick's Sporting Goods and bought a fucking mace. It's not technically not mace. I'm not sure what the distinction is, but someone told me they're not the same thing, so I just took their word for it. But boy, would it suck to get hit with.
Remember that guy you met over there to your right?
Yes.
His wife said I was clinically depressed.
Maybe you are. Do you see a therapist?
No.
Because I'm not qualified to do any of that stuff. All I could say is if you have trouble relaxing, maybe you should try doing mindfulness meditation exercises.
See, I did see a therapist at one point, but because she said I had post-traumatic stress disorder, she tried to get me on meds. I'm like, no, thanks.
We don't need to go on meds. You can always just say you don't want to.
No, she kept pushing. I'm like, are you a fucking drug dealer? I'm like, no, I know.
Yeah, that just seems like you had a bad fit. And this was a psychiatrist or just a social worker?
Therapist.
So she could not prescribe medicine herself?
No.
Yeah, okay.
She'd highly recommend medication, though. I think that was her soft way of saying I'm fucked.
Yeah, well, not everyone needs meds, but, and not everyone should be on meds. I think there's a lot of people that probably should and aren't, and there's probably more people that should not be and are.
Like, for example, I may be depressed, but I can still get up and go to work. Even my coworkers don't, so.
Well, that's just called functional depression, though. It's not necessarily.
Yeah, I guess I'm functionally depressed.
Those are the people who actually go crazy, though, because then, no no one really complains about the depression affecting their lives. Your issue is no, it's not even plugged in. No wonder I haven't been able to hear it.
It's coming through fine there. I just got to copy and paste it in the stereo.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. I don't care. I was just like, oh shit, I just noticed these aren't plugged in. Why have I been wearing them anyway? Well, I don't know. I mean, it's very hard to find a therapist is also the problem. But I guess it's probably easier now than it ever has been because everyone is just going to do it remote anyway. So.
I don't think I want to go back to therapy, though.
Well, maybe you should try looking up guided meditation on YouTube, which is what I do sometimes.
But you know what's weird, though? I can only actually fall asleep if the TV's on. It pisses me off.
That's not good because that means you're going to get a low-quality sleep and you have blue light disrupting your circadian rhythm.
Yep. But I'm dead serious. If the TV's on, I just knock like that. It's fucking sad, actually.
Well, you should try the mindfulness stuff when you're in bed because that is actually, it's hard. It's not necessarily easy. I mean, if you think of it as like, going for a run is not particularly easy at first because you want to stop, but then you, for some reason, make yourself keep going. Meditating for 10 minutes is essentially the same concept of like, well, this is not particularly easy or pleasant, but if you do it, you will eventually achieve a little bit of relaxation or at least remove some of the stress, which can also affect you physically. I mean, I try to do it. I've been doing a 30-day, shout out to Old Dirty Boston, real name Jason Faulkner. He's challenged his followers to a 30-day Wim Hof breathing exercise, which is different than a mindfulness meditation, but it is related. So I've been doing that, and it makes me feel better. I don't think it's going to cure any of my problems, but I can't imagine 10 minutes of a guided breathing exercise is going to hurt me in any way. And since I have these horrible pulmonary issues that I still have no idea what they are, I thought it was asthma, got tested, not asthma. So maybe allergies? I don't know.
Probably allergies.
Doctor's trying to order an EKG, and it's like, I think I'd rather see an allergist first because I feel like that's a lot cheaper than an EKG, which I just can't imagine my shitty insurance covers. Because, I mean, their fucking asthma test was already $1,000, and I'm not paying it. Yeah, just let the record show. If you, send it. I never agreed to it. You never told me how much it was going to cost. Not paying it. I'll give you $2.
Dirty fucking
Not $2 a month. Again, $2. You send me a pre-packaged envelope. I will take 2 Sacagawea dollars. I will clean them. I will put them in the envelope, send them back to you. That's all you're getting. 2 inconvenient dollars for you.
Well, Kevin, now we're never getting monetized because I just let out an anti-Semitic comment on the air. But
Did you say Jew?
Yeah, I said dirty Jews.
Well, no, they're not dirty, but they are. It is a Jewish hospital, Beth Israel Hospital. I don't think we can necessarily, bring the. I'm pretty sure a Christian hospital would do the same thing, but then just be more pretentious about it. A Christian hospital would just do the same thing, but have a big statue of Jesus in the lobby.
What would Jesus say?
It is just a practice that all hospitals have. It is unfortunate that they are a Jewish hospital because the temptation, in your rage to say such a thing is there. But unfortunately, I'm gonna be the adult here and try not to get us canceled or demonetized. From our $0 a year salary.
Kevin, did you know despite making up 0.4% of the world's population? You could probably already know the joke.
What's 4% of the population? I never heard this.
Despite making up 0.4% of the population, Jews control 80% of the world's wealth.
Is that a joke, or is that just like a true fact?
No, it's what anti-Semites like to say.
Oh.
Despite making up X amount of the population, they control I think 60 or 70% of the world's wealth.
It is definitely funny that anti-Semites can't go on in their bullshit without complimenting Jewish people. They're like, the Jews are blah, 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 and they're really good with money, and they're very successful and charismatic and rise to positions of power, and
maybe because they're good at it.
And I can't really come up with any reasons for why they're bad, honestly. It's kind of a fucking weak form of bigotry when you think about it. Because all the shit they say about Muslims, they say Muslims are dirty, they're violent, they smell, blah, 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 blah. They say it's basically the same shit about black people, maybe some, more things about sagging pants, although that's not as common as it used to be. But then with the Jews, it's always you get the very high tier, they control the weather. I'm like, okay, so now you're basically just saying they're the X-Men. Are you sure you hate these people, or are you just afraid, It seems like the Jews have Old Testament God-type abilities, in your opinion, and by your own weird religious convictions, you should just kind of get on your knees and worship them. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't correct me, though, because if you are some sort of weird bigot, I'd rather not speak to you. just seems like it wouldn't be a productive use of my time. I do want to have Stuart Diamond on the podcast, though. Stuart Diamond is an insane street evangelist that has been commenting on most of my Facebook posts because he refuses to do his street evangelism during the mask until the mask ban is lifted, which it now is. So I guess he's back to it. I'm not really sure why he couldn't just wear a mask and do the street evangelism, or just not wear a mask and do it. I feel like people are already going to avoid a guy who's screaming Bible passages at Downtown Crossing. I'm not really sure if the mask would be much of a factor. But I guess maybe the police just would want an excuse to arrest him because they find him annoying in the first place. I don't even know if you can really get arrested for that. That doesn't seem like it would happen. Outdoors, I don't think that would happen. But I don't know what his fucking deal is. But he claims I found a photo of him. So he actually had a photo of him in the Boston Globe of him yelling during like the holiday shopping season, just screaming with an open Bible. And there's just a great girl in the corner of the frame, a great reaction of a girl in the corner of the frame, like trying to look ahead so he doesn't realize, but also holding her phone like this to take a picture of him because he looks so fucking crazy. But he does refuse to do the podcast because he thinks I'm a disrespectful heathen. I mean, that is true. But I feel like that's a bad reason to refuse. I offered to buy him a cheesesteak from Mother's Pizza, one of the greatest establishments here in Melrose, Massachusetts. This crazy guy, crazy Christian street evangelist named Stuart Diamond, who connected with me because he liked my reviews that I posted in the cheesesteak review group. He also
discovered that you're a comedian.
Yeah, he also claims that he's been practicing the Torah his whole life, which is suspect because it does explicitly say in the Torah that you cannot combine meat and dairy, and he's very active in the cheesesteak review group. So that's everyone knows that. It's like no shrimp and you can't have a cheeseburger, which is stupid. No offense, Jews, but like it's pretty stupid to not have a cheeseburger. Like if you could choose between never having a cheeseburger or a lobster roll and having a cheeseburger and then sometimes a lobster roll on a special occasion because they're expensive, like why would you not choose that option? I mean, sorry. Pretty dumb, honestly. Anyone who follows that rules, you're being stupid. Can't have a shrimp cocktail. Although that would protect you from Harvey Weinstein, who famously, exited a trailer fully naked, masturbating and holding a shrimp cocktail. Perhaps.
Did he really?
I believe it was Harvey Weinstein. It was definitely one of the people who was like an early Me Too, get this guy the fuck out of media. Yeah, he had like some woman in a room and she thought that, like he said that he was like going to go to the bathroom or whatever, and she thought he was just going to pee or whatever and come out, and then he came out fully naked, vigorously masturbating and holding a shrimp cocktail.
What a fat fucking
Which means that I guess the shrimp cocktail was like in the bathroom beforehand and he just grabbed it. I'm not sure the logistics or why it had to be involved. Also, Weinstein, a Jewish guy, so maybe that is why they banned shrimp in the first place. It probably has nothing to do with the fact that in, the year negative 5,000, the year 5,000 BCE, someone ate a shrimp and got sick. It probably has entirely to do with the fact that they did not want the shrimp cocktail, a delicacy that would not be invented for much time later, to be held while someone was committing a very heinous and quite frankly, very bizarre form of sexual assault. Would you, I think I'm onto something here. That guy. They're always like, Harvey Weinstein's lawyers say that his conditions in prison aren't good. And it's like, oh, okay.
Who gives a fuck?
Good? I was like, I feel like he's the kind of guy where everyone was like, he's going to go to prison and he's going to get raped. And it's like, nah, they're probably going to put him in that like bullshit rich prison where like,
Yeah, the Al Capone prison.
Yeah. Which is, in theory, he should be in a prison with just like murderers and shit like that because the crimes he committed are violent crimes. But who knows, Even the rich don't get punished like the rest of us, so. They got Bill Cosby's blind. I'm surprised Bill Cosby hasn't been killed yet. I know he was hit in the face with a chicken patty, which is hilarious, but not really the results we wanted to see.
I can't do a Bill Cosby impression.
Well, I guess he was like trying to do the Fat Albert impression or something for the people at his table, and like while he was trying to do it, another prisoner just grabbed the chicken patty and threw it at him and hit him in the face. And the article I read said that the chicken patty is actually like at that prison actually the best, like one of the best meal options they have. So like on the day where they're serving chicken patties, it would mean a lot that you would actually sacrifice the one meal and like the best of all the meals that they have at the prison. But yeah. I wonder if being a vegetarian in prison is worse or better. My gut says worse.
Yeah,
when you think about how horrible the meat must be, it might even be better.
Yeah, but you probably need the meat to pump iron so that way, because if you're fucking skinny, you're the prison bitch.
Oh yeah. Well, depending on what type of prison you're in, but if you're in the kind of prison that
rich person
a
prison?
huge rapist should be in, then yes, you definitely need to be pumping iron. I mean, Whitey, he got one of the most brutal. Like, I mean, it's nothing compared to all the damage he caused and all the lives he destroyed. But boy, did he get a really fucking brutal murder. They fucking ripped his tongue out. They beat the side of his head until his eyes bled out, like his eyes popped out of his skull. It's like they didn't just fucking beat him to death. They made sure that they bashed his skull until his face was just a pile of broken bones and flesh. Like, they really, really fucked that guy up, like real bad.
Do they know who did it?
Some guy. It was not a paid assassin. It was just a guy who had been serving a life sentence because someone ratted on him to the FBI. And anytime a rat came,
I get it.
yeah, it's like if you're a pedophile or a rat, you don't survive in prison very long. But they had been trying to keep Whitey out of the Gen Pop as long as they could, and then eventually they just couldn't do it anymore. Because there was enough people. He pissed off more people than that Oldham favors, and. So as soon as he got into Gen Pop, it was just like, oh, one of the biggest rats in American history, basically. And he was a hypocrite because he was like, usually a rat is like some lower level guy who's selling people out, for cash. He was like the top level guy, and he was selling out people so he could stay on top. And obviously, if he found out there was a rat, he'd kill the shit out of them. Probably.
Did you ever read the book on his life?
No, I have not. I just know that those.
He
few details.
when he got sent to federal prison, he got Charlie Manson.
He was participating in the MK Ultra experiments, right?
Yep.
And he was he was like not a boss when he went to prison. And then when he came out, he kind of became a boss. So it's also like, did the MK Ultra have an influence on that?
Pretty much they lied to him. They said, we're doing the research to, help find a cure for Alzheimer's.
I think all the MK Ultra, they were lying. They were, obviously they were lying to everyone.
Well, they admitted that, when they tested out in prisons and not houses because, who the fuck's going to fucking take those?
There were a good amount of regular civilian volunteers who were involved in those experiments. I think it was prison was easier because it was just like, hey, you're not allowed to, you're never going to fucking drink booze. You're never going to smoke a cigarette. It's like, we'll fucking give you some drugs. And then most prisoners were just like, anything to fucking, get high. But go on. You said they weren't going to houses?
No, so they do is they tested nut houses in prisons so that way no one, not snitch, but, take notice.
If you were testing LSD on someone who was already mentally ill, like to the point where they
how
had
would
to
you
be
know what the
in an
effects are?
asylum. Yeah, how would you know? Like, that's like the thing is, I remember I was like trying to sign up for a study, and at the time I was taking antidepressants. I'm not on them now, but I was trying to, and I was a huge fucking cigarette smoker, which I also am not now, so good for me. But it was like, they were trying to do, it was BU, Harvard, something like that, a smoking cessation study, and they said I couldn't do it because I was on antidepressants, and like the fact that you're taking a chemical that messes your brain chemistry, like it will affect the reliability of the research, so they don't do it. I also had one that I couldn't do because I drank too many times a week, which is embarrassing. No, I forget what that was. It was like probably a different depression study or something. And they're like, yeah, you drink too many times a week. Sorry, it would affect the results. I'm like, all right, well, good luck finding a severely depressed person who doesn't drink multiple times a week. I'm sure they're out there, but your work's cut out for you.
That's one of the few things that does help me sleep is alcohol, but...
Yeah, but again, You
don't want to drink.
Well, the thing is, you drink and sometimes you get drowsy, and if you don't fall asleep in that pocket of drowsiness, then you're kind of just like awake and drunk. I don't know. You should don't rule out the Ativan.
Like I said, I don't take meds. I refuse
not
to.
that addictive. It's not as bad as Xanax. It's more powerful than Valium. But, a little peace. Right to sleep. Although if you take too much, you will not wake up in the morning. So that is a problem. Not that you're dead. You'll just oversleep because it kind of sedates you for quite some time. My girlfriend, she gave me, I was like, you barely even recognize it because she breaks it up into like eighths. She's like, just take this. And I was like, are you sure? And she was like, yes, don't take any more than that. You will not wake up.
Yeah, take this Dutch and just sniff it.
Yeah, no, you guys still gotta take it. I don't know if it even works if you sniff it, but she breaks it up into pieces where it's like not recognizable as a pill at all. That's what you gotta do. The van. The van.
8:04. We got 15 minutes left.
15 minutes? Yeah, we don't gotta go to the end. I mean, I gotta go see the hilarious movie Nobody with the comedic actor Bob Odenkirk, so I'm sure that's going to be a real riot, and I'm going to laugh.
Why don't you just conclude it now, or?
Yeah, well, let's do our closing statements. What was I talking about at the beginning of the show? I don't know.
You were talking about meth, I think.
Maybe if we had a more coherent narrative throughout the episode, it would be easier to also promote and monetize. But people ask, what's the podcast about? I'm like, you know what? That's none of your business. That's really none of your business, honestly. Like, I know it's a thing that I publicly release, but you're going to ask me what it's about? It's honestly disrespectful. It's very annoying when people
If you
ask
want to find out what it's about, watch the damn show.
Oh, it's very annoying when people ask me, like, and what kind of comedy do you do? I'm like, what do you, like, you ask that question as if, like, you know the types. Like, there's not like a fucking encyclopedia of labels. It's not like asking what kind of music do you play, where there's like well-known established genre labels. But even that is like, if I ask someone like your band, what kind of music do you play? They're gonna say some shit back to me that I have no idea what any of those words mean, because there's too many subgenres and musician people know them and I don't. But fuck it. All right, I've been doing some shows back in Wakefield, Massachusetts. Tickets are on sale now for our next show, June 11th. So come on by. It'll be fun. Dave will be there. He'll be in the corner. He'll be filming.
Smoking
maybe
crack.
Unless he's there. Well, please don't smoke crack indoors. You can do whatever you want outside the establishment in the smoking area. There is a little smokers circle in the club area. However, I don't believe you're allowed to smoke crack in there, but I don't know if anyone would say anything boo about it. So,
Well, fun fact, June 1st, we get the UFO documents. Thanks, Donnie.
UFO for UFO for UFO for UFO.
I'm sorry, UAPs.
UAPs.
That's
That
a
sounds like
PC term
stupid.
now.
Yeah. Well, why do we need to be political correct about?
Fucking aliens.
We don't even know what they are, if they even are aliens.
We don't
Why
know if they even have a sex.
We don't even know if they're physiologically or mentally capable of being offended at all. So I'm not really sure why we need to be politically correct about aliens. Reel it in, Joe. I'm just kidding. He's like a dead body. I don't know who's actually running the country right now, and it makes me scared.
It's probably some Jewish Illuminati reptilian shape-shifting something.
Not press secretary, though. That is a good-looking lady.
Kamala?
No, that's the vice president.
Would you fuck Kamala?
No. We're not going down this road.
No.
It's troublesome. Maybe in prison. I don't know. But, speaking of getting demonetized, isn't that why fucking Opie and Anthony got taken off the air for saying shit like that, I believe. Well, it was about Condoleezza Rice, but it would be an analogous today. Let's avoid that road, I wouldn't have sex with anyone. I'm in a committed, healthy relationship. Although I do think the press secretary is very attractive. And I'm only pointing that out because a lot of Republicans are like claiming that she's not, in favor of the previous one. And the previous one kind of looked like a frog. But she had that deep South white trash, Florida, what you'd expect to be. No, Kelly McEnany.
No.
Kellyanne Conway kind of looks like a meth head, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. She posted child porn, never got in trouble for it. Posted child porn of her own daughter, not porn per se, but she posted a naked photo of her own daughter, concerning, and she never got in trouble for it, even though that's a felony crime and she should be in jail. So weird stuff. I have not actually been keeping up with politics that much. I'm all just about the markets. Crypto. Let's get Dogecoin. I will not watch SNL this Saturday because I'm not an idiot. But I am hoping that Elon Musk drives up the price of Dogecoin so that I can pay my credit card bill before the interest vests again, because it's starting to become a bottomless pit that I can't dig myself out of. So let's hope for the best. P.S. IRS, if you're listening, I did my taxes right. I didn't lie about anything. So if you want to just give me the return and stop dicking around, I go on your refund tracker website. It says refund not available. It's been about 10 weeks. So let's wrap it up, you fucking idiots. You fucking morons. Why does it take so long? You know how much I need to pay. Fucking, they're so stupid. So stupid. The IRS, I don't trust them. I don't trust ya. I don't actually really trust any bureaucratic organization now, except for maybe the post office. I've never had a problem with the post office. A lot of people like to bitch about it. I've never had a problem. Postal workers, they're great. Don't cut their pension. It's a bitchy thing to do, shitty thing to do. My uncle was a postal worker, kind of a weird guy, but, we love him. My uncle's friend was a postal worker. He comes to Thanksgiving. I kind of consider him an uncle too. Good guy. So don't cut their pension. Too bad for the post office. IRS, though, cut their pension. They're doing a shitty job, honestly. You should make it more merit-based. They're fucking up. All right. Good night, folks. Fuck the IRS.
Take care.